The Spanish language is one of the most spoken languages in the world, especially here in Latin America, and Brazil, belonging to, is the only country that actually speaks Portuguese in the entire American continent. Oh, you didn't know that Brazil speaks Portuguese? Well, stay in this video and I'm gonna explain you everything. Hey buddies, my name is Andrey and I'm here on YouTube to prove and share that Brazil is awesome and you need to be here. And today I would like to be more specific, and the question is why Brazil doesn't speak Spanish. Because if you see the map of the whole American continent, being more specific to Latin America, everybody speaks Spanish, but somehow, actually, there is a story behind that Brazil speaks Portuguese. I already did a video talking about the Brazilian Portuguese. I'm gonna put it here somewhere. But today, let's gonna talk about why Brazil doesn't speak Spanish, okay? So, let's go. During the 15th century, Portugal and Spain were the countries that the most invested in exploration and navigation to discover new commercial routes to India, where spices were traded. By that time, Portugal was on the rise, so investments, knowledge of navigation, and a favorable geographical position were factors that contributed that the period of time started to be called as the Age of Discovery. On this side, you have Portugal that discovered a new road to India across the African coast, passing by the famous Cape of Good Hope. On the other hand, you have Spain that arrived in a new continent in 1492, and then that continent started to be called as America. After Christopher Columbus, or in Portuguese, Cristóvão Colombo, an Italian but Spanish financial navigator, discovered the American continent, Spain rushed to colonize that unknown region. It didn't take long, and Portugal also wanted a piece of land, so misunderstanding started to be created between the nations. To avoid a war between Portugal and Spain, the Pope Alexander VI established an agreement dividing the conquests between both countries. This agreement was an imaginary line dividing the globe into two pieces and was called as Tordesillas Strait, and it was signed in Tordesillas, Spain in 1494. So Spain got the west side and Portugal the east side, and if you see the picture, you can realize which country were more happier with that decision. Because of this agreement, Spain was able to colonize all these places that we call as nowadays Latin America. Portugal became a tiny, small, little piece of land on the Atlantic coast, and this little piece is actually the Brazilian coast that we can see today. The first arrival of Portugal here in Brazil took place in 1500 by the Portuguese navigator called Pedro Álvares Cabral, and that's why a Portuguese colonization was established here in Brazil. Consequently, Brazil inherited the Portuguese language, and it's still our official language until today. There are many incentives of the Brazilian government to teaching Spanish due to the economic relations that we have to the countries from the South America. If you see in this data about the tourists that we have here in Brazil annually, you will see that the Spanish speakers is the most common, the majority. So that's why it's a proof why the Spanish language is important here in Brazil, but actually, unfortunately, we don't speak. If you are a Brazilian or a Portuguese speaker, you're probably going to understand my side, and my side is it's really, really difficult to learn the Spanish language when the Portuguese language is your mother language, because it's really close and at the same time totally different. We can, have a communication with Spanish speakers, but the opposite doesn't happen. I don't know why. And yeah, so that's why it's really important to understand the Spanish language, right? So, but that's it. I hope you liked this episode. Really short, but with a lot of great informations. If you have any other question about the Spanish language inside of Brazil, I can do another video. So Thank you so much, muito obrigado, and I see you on the next video. Ciao! Oh, it didn't finish yet, so...